So, what is confidence? If you Google it, what you'll come up with is the feeling or belief that one can have faith in or rely on someone or something. And in the case of auditions, that is the faith and belief that you have within yourself and your own abilities. Now, I think it's really important to actually define what I mean by confidence, because the common misconception is that confident people are extroverted, that they're outspoken, that they take lots of risks, and that they just appear larger than life. And that's not actually the case for true confidence. Yes, it can manifest that way, but there's also this idea of a kind of quiet confidence. It's the ability to stand in front of a panel and actually have the faith within yourself saying, I've got this, I know what I'm doing, I'm fully prepared, and I know how to carry myself. So if that's what we mean by confidence, then I actually want to just take a second to differentiate between the idea of insecurity, confidence, and arrogance. So the big differentiation between those three things is this idea of status. So who is the most valuable, the most powerful, the most sought after person within the room? So the first one is approaching auditions from the place of insecurity. If you are going in to please and to impress a panel. So what you're actually doing is you are operating from a low status, which is in turn pedestaling the audition panel to high status. So you are constantly looking up towards them as if you are unworthy, as if they are doing you a favor by inviting you into the room. So you're going to spend all of that time being unsure of yourself, apologizing for your presence, rushing yourself because you feel like you're inconveniencing the panel, second guessing yourself and your ability, and thinking that they just don't like you. And all of those things will not count in your favor. But then on the absolute flip side of that, if you are approaching it from a place of arrogance, then you are actually pedestaling yourself, operating from a very, very high status and putting the audition panel on low status. So we're looking down on them. Kind of that idea that they are wasting your time, or you shouldn't have to audition, or that it is all very much beneath you, that you've got this kind of too cool for school attitude, that you're not even going to try very hard because you're just very much above the whole thing. That is really going to turn an audition panel off. But then you've got your comfortable middle ground, which is actual true confidence. And in terms of status, you are both equal, both yourself as the auditionee and the audition panel themselves. You are both operating from a place of neutrality and equality, which means that you're going to go in to actually collaborate with them, to create alongside them, that you're going to be listening and being open in a genuine way. And those kinds of encounters with people who are actually operating from a genuine sense of confidence and ease within themselves and their own abilities, they tend to be the people that get hired. Because the thing is, it does not matter how talented you are, it doesn't matter how suitable you are for the job. If you're a dick, then they won't hire you. Or if you're entirely unsure of yourself and really, really underconfident, then people are going to be wary about actually taking a gamble on you, because it doesn't appear like you want to take a gamble on yourself. So now that we've defined those three places within the spectrum of confidence, now let's move on to the idea of, well, where did my lack of confidence manifest from in the first place? If you are someone that really, really has a bit of a crisis of confidence when it comes to going into auditions, then understand that you are really not alone. Another common misconception is that actors are inherently confident people, that they tend to be on the extroverted side of things, and that we have full faith and confidence in ourselves and our own abilities. And quite frankly, this couldn't be further from the truth. We tend to be more insecure than most people in other areas of the industry. So please understand that you are not alone within this, especially if you encounter this going into an audition. And from actually analysing my own journey as an actor, and also as a coach, as a director, as somebody who works with students, as someone who actually sits on audition panels, I've come to understand that that idea of insecurity, especially when it comes to auditioning, it actually comes from the following places. So one is the scarcity mentality within our industry. Now look, I get it. There are more actors than there are jobs. There are more auditionees than there are places at drama school. It always seems like we are vying for that one little thing that is somewhat out of our reach, because there are so many people, so many better people applying to get exactly the same thing, which then means that only a handful of people are going to get it. And we tend to think that the people that get it are better than us, that they're more worthy than us, that they're more deserving than us, that they're luckier than us. So then we start to adopt this idea of, well, what makes them so special? What makes me so bad? And then the comparison comes into it. And especially in this kind of modern age where social media is nothing but comparison, it perpetuates this idea that everybody around us is living this perfect life and that they're getting everything that they wanted, when in fact it is just a curated version of what they're experiencing in their everyday lives. And if you're not actually experiencing that level of success and that level of abundance, then we tend to think, well, there must just be something wrong with me. So when we go into an audition, we're starting to think in terms of that imposter syndrome, of thinking, well, there's something wrong with me and I'm just gonna bite the bullet and hope that they don't figure it out. I hope that they don't expose me as being lesser than I actually am. Another thing that really drives the confidence down with auditions is this idea that it is a test. Tests are scary. Failure is scary. And that level of fear drives us to think that we are well out of our depth. But as much as auditions are set up to appear like they are tests, they're in fact just opportunities for you to go in and do your job and meet new people and collaborate and explore and create together. And that we put so much pressure on ourselves to get that result, to get that yes, that we cease to understand that auditions can actually be quite enjoyable experiences. If you take that idea that you are being tested and analysed and assessed out of the equation, it's just an opportunity to go into a room with like-minded people and collaborate and create together. So regardless of whether you get a yes or a no, if you could just take the pressure off of yourself and allow yourself, give yourself permission to actually just enjoy the experience. And the next one is a real doozy. And it's the idea that if I get a rejection, then I get a rejection. Actors often really struggle with the idea of separating ourselves from our job. That we actually regard ourselves and our identity as being an actor. So if we do not get a job, then we can't count ourselves as an actor, and then who are we? So if the audition panel's saying no to giving us a job, then they're actually saying no to us. They're rejecting us on a personal level. When if you actually compare it to any other job in the world, somebody goes in for a job interview and they get a no on the basis that they just don't have the skill set, then they get to actually separate that. They kind of go, oh no, it's my CV that they're rejecting. They're not rejecting me as an individual, as a person, but we as actors really struggle to differentiate the job from the self. Because what we bring to our job is ourselves. It is our body, it's our voice, it's our look, it's our intention, it's our imaginative and creative outlet. So when we get a no, it feels like we are getting rejected. So our confidence goes through the floor when we go into an audition. We second guess ourselves because we don't want to be rejected on a personal level. And the last thing that really affects our confidence is perfectionism. So it's tying into the idea that auditions are tests, that we're constantly striving for this completely flawless, perfect performance because, hey, look, if the audition panel see that we can do something perfectly, then they wouldn't dare reject us. Now, I'm sorry to tell you that perfection is just a unicorn that you are constantly going to be chasing, that you are never ever going to catch. Because perfection is not human. It has no human element to it. We are flawed individuals. So we're going to go into an audition and it is not going to be flawless. There is always room for improvement. And yes, of course, you can strive for improvement, but striving for perfection is only ever going to make you fall short. And if you were constantly chastising yourself for not being perfect, then you were already getting in your own way. The only thing you can do in that situation is just strive for truth, strive for connection, because that is actually the human element, not perfection. So okay, how do we actually harness some confidence for auditions? So the first thing you can do is ask yourself the question, why not me? And I don't mean in terms of the why can't I get the thing that I want? I mean, why couldn't it be you? What makes you think that they're going to reject you? Why couldn't you be capable of it? There's a high possibility that they can say yes to you. So seriously, what is it that makes you think that you're not going to get the job or you're not going to get the place at drama school? Surely by actually going into the audition, you have some kind of faith in yourself, because why would you do it otherwise? So then it's just about grasping that little thought and amplifying it. Because I'm sorry, the entire world is completely stacked against you. There are obstacles and struggles and things that are going to prevent you in real time, in a real tangible way, from getting the things that you want. So why the fuck are you getting on the bandwagon with them? Surely you should be your own cheerleader. So out of all of the obstacles in the world, don't be one of them. Because in the end, it all comes down to a mindset. Because it doesn't matter if there is one obstacle in the world that's holding you back from actually achieving the thing that you want, or 100 obstacles. If your mindset is not right, then you are going to fail. So first and foremost, get on your own side. The second thing to think about, or the second thing to ask yourself is, What is my ammunition? So what do you actually have within the audition that can back you up? So the first thing is your preparation. All of the work that you've put in prior to the audition is going to be there for you if you get out of your own way and if you just allow it. The dialogue's going to be there, your creative choices are going to be there. Those things are going to be a constant. They're not just going to up sticks and abandon you. They're going to be there with you. So rely on them. The next piece of ammunition is your own pace. So you have the ability to slow down. Even if you feel like the audition panel are rushing you or that they're running behind, this is your time. This is your time to work. This is your time to create. This is your time to collaborate. So take the time that is rightly yours. Because if you are going in and you are rushing, then you are going to get ahead of yourself. You're going to start getting yourself mixed up and you're going to start to get really, really nervous. You are completely in control of actually just taking a breath and slowing yourself down. Because when you actually slow yourself down, you get clearer on what you're doing. And this goes for the few seconds that you have before you actually begin your audition material. So go through the checklist of actually thinking, feet are planted on the floor, my knees are loose, my breath is low. Think about where you are as the character, who you're talking to, what that relationship is. What do you want from them? What the objective is, what you're striving for, and what happened directly before this event so that you've got some previous circumstances. Once you get all of that logically in your head, you've already slowed your pace down and you're already thinking objectively and logically about what's about to happen. So you're already in control of the situation, which is only ever going to make you feel more confident in the moment. The next thing that you have as part of your ammunition, as part of your actual arsenal, is your ability to try again. Now look, auditions are high stakes environments. They are nerve-wracking. So mistakes happen. You're going to forget a line, or you're going to lose your place, or you're going to misinterpret something. And that's okay. That means that you are human. And guess what? The audition panel understand that. They understand that this is a nerve-wracking environment and they don't want to perpetuate that any further. So they're going to be expecting and anticipating that mistakes are likely to happen, and they're incredibly allowing and forgiving for those things. But know that you can always start again. You can always go back to the top of the thought or the top of the paragraph or wherever is comfortable for you. Take a breath and go again. The next big thing to think about to drive up that confidence is the idea that the panel is on your side. So contrary to popular belief, audition panels do not bring you into audition rooms with the sole objective of humiliating you and ridiculing you and making you feel like shit. It's just not our bag. It's actually just a waste of time. Believe me, speaking from experience as an audition panel member, we always want you to do your best. One, because we've probably been in that environment ourselves. As actors or directors or other creatives within the industry, we will have likely gone in for auditions or pitch meetings or job interviews that feel really, really nerve-wracking. So we understand what you're going through, and we do not want you to be experiencing that any more than you absolutely have to. And also, you are solving a problem. By coming into this audition room, you are solving the problem of us casting the show or bulking out a full year group for the next academic year at a drama school. We want you to do well because we want you to be the solution to our problems. The next thing that's really going to help you with your confidence, and it is a big one, and if you take nothing else away from this video, take this away. You need to prepare well. Now, it really doesn't matter what your actor's process is exactly, it's just important that you have one, because this is a surefire way to absolutely tank your confidence and tank yourself in an audition if you do not prepare, because you're going to be spending the entirety of the audition covering up the fact that you haven't read the script or trying to actually figure out what the heck is going on instead of actually truly collaborating with the people there in the room with you. And that is some really low vibration negativity that you are going to be bringing into that room with you. Do yourself the favor and actually prepare in advance. Put yourself in a position where you have a really sturdy, solid foundation of prep work so that when you get in the room, you can actually work instinctively within the moment. And the last thing that is really, really going to help you is breathe. Now, I know it's one of those things that has been said since time immemorial, but breathing does a whole host of stuff, including really helping you with your confidence. Because if you are breathing, then you are thinking clearer. If you're breathing, then you're slowing yourself down. And if you're breathing, then you are more centered. And tell me that those three things are not things that are exhibited when you are feeling confident. Because the thing is, if you are not breathing, then you are likely in fight or flight mode. You're working from a place of reaction, of emotion. And that tends to be unpredictable and unanchored. If you're breathing, then you're approaching it more logically, more objectively, and more open. You want to be as grounded as you can be, and your breath, lowering your breath from your chest to your belly and actually elongating those breaths, that is really, really gonna help you. So there we go. That is all the things that I can think of when it comes to your confidence levels when you are auditioning. It's one of those things that is really, really difficult to actually manifest in yourself. It's one of those things that takes practice. But believe me when I say that it is more to do with mindset than it is to do with external factors. So start to kind of mine your own thinking before you go into auditions and thinking about the reasons why you're actually approaching it from the way that you're actually approaching it. And as always, if you really enjoy this content and you want to see more of it, then just make sure that you click like and that you subscribe to the channel and that you send this on to anybody else that you think will benefit from it. But if you've got any questions or comments, then make sure that you put them in the box below. But until next time, thanks so much.